Kyodo News English World。
皆さんこんにちは。こちらは共同通信英文記者のポッドキャストです。英文記者は国内外で起きている出来事について取材してオリジナルの英文記事を発信したり、日本語のニュースを英語に翻訳したりしています。共同通信の英語の記事をテーマにいろんな国から集まる仲間たちと英語と日本語を交えていろいろディスカッションしていけたらと思っています。今日は3人の記者でお届けします。こんにちは。私は山田エレサです。記者としては2年目。この春から海外部でライターをしております。よろしくお願いいたします。
Hi there, my name is Peter Masheter. I'm a staff writer at Kyodo News. I've worked here for about 3 years now. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Donican. I'm from Australia. I've been at Kyodo for about 6 years now, and it's nice to meet you.
ありがとうございます。では、今日の記事の紹介です。自転車を乗る方は気をつけないといけないニュースです。ピーターさん、見出しをお願いします。
Sure. Japan police to fine minor rule-breaking cyclists from next April.
ありがとうございます。自転車で交通違反をした際に反則金納付を通告できる交通反則切符、青切符制度が来年4月1日に開始するということです。最初の2パラグラフもお願いします。
Sure. Japan will implement a revised road traffic law from April next year that will see fines imposed for relatively minor traffic violations, such as using a mobile phone while riding a bicycle or ignoring a traffic light, police said. Starting April 1st, 2026, police can issue people aged 16 and older so-called blue tickets, which exempt an offender from being indicted if they pay a fine for more than 100 violations, as the country seeks to crack down on rule-breaking cyclists.
青切符制度は反則金を納付すれば起訴は免除される制度です。走行中にスマートフォンを使用するながら運転や信号無視や2人乗りも対象になるということです。ピーターさん、このニュースどう思いますか？
Well, I don't find this news surprising because I feel like Japan and the police for a long time have been cracking down on issues around cycling, especially because cycling has become much more popular since the coronavirus pandemic. Lots more people have been commuting to work on bicycles, and at the same time, from about 2021 onwards, delivery driver services, like dinners that you can get from restaurants via delivery apps and that kind of thing, have also grown in popularity. So in the first half of this decade, there's definitely been a real rise in use of bicycles, and as a result, way more accidents. So I'm not surprised that it has come to this, although I am surprised by how strict the government has gotten so quickly on some of these actions.
ありがとうございます。トニカーさんはどう思われますか？
Yeah, I think it's good that they are cracking down on things like using a mobile phone and holding an umbrella, which are very dangerous things to do when riding a bike. One thing that surprises me a little bit is in Australia, it's compulsory to wear a helmet when riding a bike, but in Japan, it's, I think, a rule, but it's not really enforced. So I don't think the fines are going to apply for not wearing a helmet in this case, right?
Yeah, so in recent years, it's been a non-legally binding requirement that you wear a helmet. So they've been encouraging that in recent years. I mean, it's interesting because I do think it's interesting that the fines are set at 12,000 yen. That's about $84 at the time of recording for using a mobile phone while looking at its screen. 6,000 yen for ignoring a traffic light and 5,000 yen for riding a bicycle while holding an umbrella. Some is quite expensive. So where I come from in the UK, apparently you can get a £50. That's about just under ichiman, just under 10,000 yen as a fine for running a red light. But I think they've set some of these fines really quite high, especially when it comes to mobile phones.
私は個人的にはイヤホンを装着して音楽を聴きながら運転したりとかすることもあったので気をつけようと思いました。
What, with both ears? With both ears or one? Both. Wow,
that's dangerous.
That's incredibly
you can't
dangerous.
hear cars or anything around you.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Donican, do you ride with headphones in?
Never.
Never.
I've never even held an umbrella while riding. I don't have the one-handed talent for that.
I mean, because holding an umbrella while cycling when it's raining
is very dangerous, right?
It's also very common, I would say. Like you see it all the time.
Yes, but I mean, when it's raining, the road is very slippery as well. So more the reason to have both your hands on the handlebar.
Yes.
and brakes. So, yeah.
Something that I noticed when I came to this country, which is different to the UK, where I'm from, is that in the UK, it's illegal to ride a bicycle on the pavement if you're over the age of 16. Sorry, the sidewalk is the word I should use.
Yeah.
That's the international word for that. Whereas in Japan, you can just ride in the road, on the sidewalk, and maybe hit a pedestrian or something. It's like free reign, right?
I think in Japan, it's kind of like the same thing with the helmets. It's like you're supposed to ride on the road, but as long as you keep a reasonably low speed on the pavement, they don't really bother. I mean, some of the pavements have like a separated lane for the bicycles.
Yes.
For some reason, people like walking in those lanes, which I find quite annoying.
Yes. Yeah.
Conversely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are some sidewalks which are specifically, they have specific signs which say that you can use both and they don't delineate between either. But yeah, I think it's interesting. This isn't the first time recently that they've made the laws much stricter on cyclists. So in November last year, they introduced fines for cyclists who use mobile phones while riding or who ride under the influence of alcohol. And people who are caught doing those things can face imprisonment of up to 6 months or a fine of up to 100,000 yen. And if they cause an accident, they can go to prison for a year or be fined up to 300,000 yen. So this is all part of a longer trend toward making cycling safer. And interestingly, if you look at the number of accidents in Tokyo, they've gone from 11,500 or so in 2020 to nearly 16,000 in 2023. But then last year in 2024, they went down to 15,080. So there's about 1,000 reduction.
ドニカンさんは自転車に乗りますか？
乗りますけど、I don't actually own a bike in Tokyo, so I use a lot of the rent-a-cycle services, which I find very convenient.
See, I think those rent-a-cycle services are probably part of the increase in accidents in the capital in the last few years.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Purely on an anecdotal level, as someone who rides a bicycle to work quite a lot. I'm one of these people who rides more to work since the pandemic. I would say, from my own personal observations, that a lot of unsafe cycling comes from people who don't normally cycle.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but there are a lot of people who use the renter cycles which also, can cycle, and I guess it's convenient because they don't have to deal with the maintenance of a bicycle or worry about it being stolen or finding a place to park as long as they have one of those docking stations. Yeah, so yeah, I do understand that. It means like anyone can just pretty much get on a bike regardless of their skill level, but I feel it has a lot of pros as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, especially when it comes to thinking about people using more environmentally friendly ways of traveling.
Yeah, and sometimes it ends up being faster than taking the bus or train.
Yamada-san, do you own a bicycle?
私は自転車は普段乗らないですけど、持ってはいないですけど、ドニカンさんと一緒でレンタサイクルの一応サービスは登録はしています。そろそろ終わりの時間が来ました。共同通信では共同ニュースプラスというサイトで日本や世界で起きた出来事について英語のニュースを発信しています。今日ご紹介した記事も掲載されていますので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。それでは皆さん、
See you next time!